Hello, everyone. So, weight loss journey, 10 months in, and I got a lot to say about this one because I skipped the previous month. There are reasons for that. Um, but like we always do, let's start with some pictures here. I always got to start out with images in case this is the first one you see or something, whatever. So, way back on October 1st, this is what we looked like from the front and from the side, and I was 255 pounds. And then this was 2 months ago, so the start of June 1st. I was doing pretty good. And then from the side, and then I was 204. That was up a little from like 195 the month before. But now, at the start of August, I haven't done very well. So there's from the front, from the side, kind of blurry. I know, sorry. And I'm a little ashamed to admit this. I'm up to 224. So if we're doing like, what are we doing? Hold on, yeah. Side by side, it's apparent. It's most evident in the face. In the face, I really puffed out, and the bottom of the stomach and stuff. It's like that meme. I've evolved, but in the opposite direction. I mean, I'm thankful that I'm not this. We put the side by side. I'm doing okay, but I have been trending in the wrong direction. And then from here, again, it's blurry. I know, I'm sorry, but puffy and fatter. Definitely 100%. Again, you can see it just in the face. So, what happened? Well, I remember towards the end of May and the start of June, again, I was coming off a month where I gained 9 pounds. And I was like, I've been doing this for a while. I relapsed in some areas, but I'm ready to get back on that horse and get back down below 190 even. But then something happened. June was just a horrible, horrible month for me personally. And it all kind of stemmed... I feel bad I'm going to be making excuses for my behavior, but I don't think I would have gotten this bad if stuff like this didn't happen. There was a lot of stuff with Twitch going on. If you remember the month of June, there was so much Twitch drama. Now, I'm not into drama on the internet. I'm not. Or anywhere, really. I try not to be anyway. But this involved my work and my way of life, so I couldn't avoid it. There was like a whole year's worth of Twitch policy changes just stuffed into like a 3-week period. The first one involving like the third-party ads thing, where if you have a sponsored ad, it can't take up more than 3% of the screen, and they had all the artwork showing what's allowed and what's not, which was met with universal backlash so much that they literally just took it away 2 days later, saying, "We hear you, we're sorry." With anyone with even like the brain the size of a newborn could tell that was a bad idea. And then that just kept spiraling into you can't use Restream on Twitch, the hype chat, which takes pretty much 60% of your donations, and there was something else. The Partner Plus program, which at its core is good, but benefits so few people. They just couldn't stop making policies that benefited like the CEOs and not viewers and streamers. It was like a challenge they were trying for. They could not put in anything good. And it just... Sorry, this video isn't about that. But there was just so much negativity. Meanwhile, Kick is signing all these streamers and their reputation is getting better. And it's like, what's going to happen to me? And Twitch, I've spent 9 years on this site. All the while I'm making less than $2 per sub. And it was bad. It was bad. Mentally, I was in a bad place. All Twitch had to do... All Twitch had to do was just not announce anything for a while, and I got better, kind of. It's always a temporary thing. Literally, when it comes to internet drama, all people need to do is wait for the next thing, and then whatever they were upset about usually just you know, they just forget about it. But it was the entire month of June. It was so bad, and mentally, I just hit the crapper. All the while, I'm doing part two and getting nowhere with progress and runs and so much practice. Non enjoyable streams, in my opinion. And it just, I turned to food to feel better and to comfort me. Just good tasting food like I always did. I still worked out, not nearly as much, but I was borderline depressed for the month of June, and nothing was going my way. I was watching John Wick 4 on my TV, and halfway through the movie, my TV just fucking dies. So I had to buy a new one at Best Buy. I bought the exact same kind. It was $250. I pick it up from the store. I bring it back here. There's a giant dent in it. And you could see, I don't have pictures on me right now, but like when you turn it on, it was so clear, and then there was a giant dent in the back. It didn't get that way through like taking it from the store to the car. It was made, it like got shipped to the store that way. And so I had to bring that one back and trade it in for a new one, and thankfully this one works fine. But it's like nothing went my way. Nothing. So and then just as I was starting to feel better, towards the end of June, carrying over into July, I fucking get COVID for the first time ever, and I still have no clue where I got it from. And that sucked. It was like the worst flu I ever had. Fever, body aches, chills, the headaches, and the night sweats. Oh, and I would have just thought it was just a bad flu, but the giveaway was I lost my smell and my taste. That was the worst. I think because of how much I love food, I think that really was the worst of it. But then it took a while to feel better, and then once I got my senses back, I feel perfectly fine right now. I just wanted to eat and just catch up on the flavors I was missing. And then when I was ready to just like go back to the good patterns I was on for so long, I just couldn't. I couldn't just go back. It's like an alcoholic and it's like a recovering alcoholic who just had a drink and then just has one the next day and the next day and the next day. That was me. I've mentioned throughout this entire thing, I think even in like my healthiest months, it's like, it's so easy. As good as I am right now, it's so easy to go back to how I was. And that's exactly what I did. Since the end of, I think since the beginning of May, I've put on 10 pounds per month. So from May to June, 10, June to July, about 10, and then July to here, another 10. Yeah, I was 195, and it said 224. So I'll round up 29 pounds in 3 months. It's not good. It's not surprising, though. That's the thing. Again, and I remember way back when, I saying on either in one of these videos or on stream, it's like, this is how, like, when I was good, it's like, this is how it's going to be. I have no more really bad cravings. I still do it once a week, but it's minimal, and I can go without having soda or pizza, pasta, all my favorite foods, Doritos, Smart Food popcorn, all my favorites. It's like I if I had to, I could go with that. Now I'm at the point right now that I like rely on them, and it was such a, I can't even pinpoint like the moment it happened. It just kind of did gradually. There was just a lot of just not feeling good, both mentally and physically, really, with all the negative surrounding Twitch and my work, and then COVID, and then like recovering from it, and then, because even when you're sick, even when I felt better, I was still testing positive. When you're positive, you can't risk the like putting someone else at risk. You can't just go out to the store. So I had to have my mom do all my grocery shopping for me. So it's just, yeah, it wasn't good. And that was the big reason for like why why I didn't make one back then, because I was sick as a dog. The video for July, and why I'm 225 pounds right now. There's even, like, if you want to, I have one more thing to show. This is like when I was at my best. I was 192 pounds. You know, we've kind of gotten, it's muted. We've kind of gotten away from what I was trying to do. I'd say this was like my proudest when I was right here. 192 pounds. It was at the start of March. So the end of February, beginning of March, I was 192 pounds. I was so proud of this moment. And I had a different webcam back then. It's not a disaster right now. Even just sitting right here, I can say an hour ago I was at the gym and I did legs and it felt very, very good. So I'm already taking steps to improve myself. And something that I personally need to do is I need to start talking about fitness again. Even if I know it's like, Anthony, this isn't why we're watching you. I stopped talking about it. And then it felt like I was having to do it all on my own. I stopped putting updates in the Discord. I just stopped talking about it. And when I stop talking about it, I stop bettering myself. I go back to what I know, because as good as I felt at like the 5 months in and the 6 months and even like the first 5 months or whatever, I always knew how easy it would be to go back and revert to what I was like before I started doing all this, which you saw the initial pictures. It was disgusting. I was killing myself, basically. And it's just, that's my normal. I think I mentioned this in the first video. Everybody has their problem, their vice. For some, it's alcohol. For some, it's gambling. For some, it's other thing. Mine is food. And this relapse, I'm calling it a relapse, it was both surprising and not surprising. It wasn't surprising because I know just how, like, addicting it can be and the good flavors. But it's surprising because I can vividly remember, I think I've already said this before, but not having to rely on that. When I was going well, it's like I can go the rest of my life without candy, without soda, without potato chips. I still like entrees and stuff, like pizzas and pastas, but in moderation and a normal size portion. And I remember feeling that way, but then it just, some stuff happens that makes you feel a little bit down, and then you revert. And I did, and then some. I ate a disgusting amount of food, and I spent a lot of money on it too. It's, the point I'm like ashamed of it. I put on a lot of weight. Getting sick and then getting over it is one thing, but yeah, I have to do better. I have to do better, and I kind of have to start back at not even square one, square zero, and just, you know, at night, don't go and drive to, that was my big thing. I went to Wawa, which is like a 24-hour gas station with, they have some good food items inside, and like hoagies, and they introduced pizza, and their mac and cheese is very good. And I started going there a lot, and it's like 10 or 11 minutes away, but I'd still go there at like 2 or 3 in the morning and get stuff. And then, yeah, their food is unfortunately quite good, especially when they're the only place open. And and I perfected the bolognese recipe with the shells and the meat sauce. Oh, it's so fucking good. But yeah, what I've done to myself over the last month specifically is the same as a clean alcoholic going to the liquor store and just getting a bunch of shit to indulge in his obsession. It's pretty much what I did. I undid a lot of progress I made, and I've harmed myself a lot. But just talking about it more, I put a big long thing in the Discord, and that made me feel a little better. And instead of going to ShopRite right before it closed and getting some Doritos and cupcakes or something, tonight I went to the gym and I did legs. And tomorrow, I'm probably either going to do the same thing or I'll do some treadmill. One or the other. And I'm still learning like more about myself with regards to exercises and working out. And I've realized some things. Like I still have a hard time balancing leg weights and cardio because I've mentioned I prefer doing weights, but cardio is probably what's best for me. But with legs specifically, you do too much muscle building, your legs are just going to be tired. But you also need to fit in cardio because that's what's best for you. So I'm still having a hard time doing that. But one thing I've learned is I want to do any and all of my leg stuff at night. And a big reason for that is if I do that during the day, like here's my daily routine. I wake up, I have breakfast, I go to the gym. Then I come home, have dinner. I skip lunch, I go right to dinner. And then I stream. And then when I'm done, that's when I get off and I'm like, I'm starving and I want something. Now, what I should do is like basically have lunch, have a snack. Carrots, celery, some grapes, I have bananas, peanut butter on a cracker, something. But instead, I usually indulge in my favorite stuff. But what I need to do instead is just supply myself with a distraction. Because if I don't do the gym, then I'm just like, I'm going to go get my favorite thing. But if I do the gym instead, it's almost like a little distraction, like dangling keys, like, ooh. And the metaphor for the dangling keys is just going to the gym and doing something, be it lifting with the legs or treadmill and cardio. And the reason I prefer doing that at night not only is the distraction, but I've been sitting in this chair for 6 or 7 hours a day. When I get up and I turn off all my equipment, I want to move around. I've just been sitting this whole time. So, yeah, that's something I want to definitely incorporate more, both like for my physical health and just for the mental. Because I remember I was at a dentist appointment middle of June, I think, or beginning of June. Yeah. They're very attentive. They write down anything they see or I mention, and I always talk about how bad my sleep pattern is, and I always equate it to just staring at a screen all day. And I'm weaning myself off melatonin because I don't want to rely on that. And they mentioned stuff about my airways and that you should probably get a sleep study done, but I mentioned I think I usually sleep bad because of the what's the word? Well, I'm just wired when I'm finished. The stimulation I get from playing and looking at a screen. And my dentist said, you need something after work, but before sleep. You need to do something after work, but before sleep. And I think that would help you. And I think he's right. So that's why I am sort of changing my workouts to do either cardio or legs at night, which is perfect again because I want to move around. So that's something I'm going to start to incorporate. And they don't feel sore afterwards. It tires me out a little bit, and then I still do the gym during the day. It's either upper body or I train my core a little bit. And I'm trying to not spend as much time there so I don't get tired of it and I can start work on time. So yeah, things I'm looking forward to incorporating again that are going to be good for me because I want to get below 200 again and maybe consistently get below 190 again, but that's not just going to happen, and I can't let my mind wander. I have to be focused. I have to really want it. And I just got to approach life and my work with just a little bit more of a positive attitude because it was just letting all the negativity get to me that caused me to just spiral, really. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else there is to say. Sorry I don't have good news to share. Again, just the turn of the month to August, the turn of the calendar to August is when I started, taking it more seriously again. So I'm going to keep these videos going, and I'm definitely going to be more active in the health and wellness channel in my Discord because, like I said, the moment I stopped talking about it is the moment I stopped caring for myself. So I think just even if nobody's listening, I'll trick myself into thinking that there are people that are listening and that care. Because that's when things were going well. I even did something. It hasn't arrived yet, but I bought like a whiteboard with a marker and eraser that I'm going to put on my door and just like write messages to myself, like days without unhealthy night eating, or just in big bold letters like don't go to Wawa or to ShopRite or something, just like, and it's going to stare at me. Like if I head towards the front door, it's going to just like stare back at me, and I'll read it and just like, don't do it. Don't do it. You know, you don't want to break the streak or something. So like little things like that I'm also going to be doing. Because yeah, I'm treating this whole relapse thing as a learning experience, in that it doesn't matter how good I get. My normal is always going to be treating myself. That's my natural normal thing, unfortunately. And these past 2 months have taught me it's going to be a lifelong thing. That is my vice. That's just what it is. I have no desire to smoke. I have zero desire to drink, except at weddings. I don't keep alcohol in the house. I don't even have a desire to gamble. I think I told you that gambling story where, like, anytime I've, like, actually gambled, I've had, like, 2 people in my life die. Not from gambling, but just, like, one time celebrating my 21st birthday, we went down to Atlantic City, and then we got a call that my aunt died. And then when I was old enough to gamble in Atlantic City, when we were doing that on Christmas Eve, just as I got old enough, my uncle died. So it was like, I think it's the universe telling me, yeah, don't do that. And then I got some family members who gamble a lot, so I've seen like what can happen from this. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't gamble. Gaming is a profession now. I wouldn't call that an obsession. It's food. It's food, and it always will be. So if I'm not constantly talking about it, hyper-focused on not giving into it, putting on 10 pounds every month is just going to be the norm. So yeah, these next couple months, starting with this month, is going to be a big test. I gotta get back to where I was, and I gotta try out this doing something at night without relying on your favorite stuff. So, yeah. That's about it. Look forward to a better September. That's a September update. So, yeah, is what it is. And it's funny, but there were some people that saying that like a relapse was going to happen. And I remember thinking to myself, no, it's not going to happen to me. Look how good I've done. It's like, this is how it's going to be from now on. It's like, oh, that's what they meant. Again, I don't know the moment where it started going south, but it did eventually. But I'm going to use this as a learning experience. You know, you gotta keep at it. You can't let your mind wander. So yeah, we'll be back better than ever, though. I know it. I'll make sure of it, as long as I don't get sick again and Twitch keeps their fucking mouth shut. All right, I'll see you guys. Bye.